We're not recording. I will call this meeting to order at 6:32 p.m. on January 17th. At this time, we currently have no presentation, so we're going to be moving on to past minutes. To call. Sorry. Joshua? Here. Emily? Here. Gabriel?
Here.
Donovan?
Here.
Alexia? Here. Mirabella? Here. Jackson?
Here.
Mason?
Here.
Sophia? Here. Anthony?
Here.
And we don't have cabbage. Javier, and then Emma? Here.
I would like to make a motion to excuse Gavin. He was sick today, so
Is there a motion? All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Well. Vote carries 12-0. I would like to make a motion to excuse Charlotte. She was sick today as well.
second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Vote carries 12-0. So as I said before, we currently have no presentation, so we'll be moving on to past meeting minutes. I would like to make a motion to approve meeting minutes from our December 6th meeting.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Vote carries 12. The KAYAC Area Youth Advisory Council welcomes comments from citizens early in the agenda of regular meetings. Those wishing to speak must sign in before the meeting begins. Speakers may be provided with an opportunity to speak during this time period, and they must observe the 3-minute time. Some of those that are new. We have a public comments form from our brand new, remind me of your
Assistant City Manager.
assistant city manager that's going to be taking over after this.
All right, I won't go over my 3 minutes. My name is Jesse Elizondo. I started with the city last Tuesday, so I've been here 2 weeks now. 2 weeks and a few days. One of the things that, I'm a new assistant city manager for the city. Some of the roles that I'll be supervising is the city secretary's office, which will be centralizing a lot of the boards and commissions, including the KAYAC, which I think is amazing. And then also the IT department, information technology. We're going to create a brand new administrative services department. So it'll be utility billing, municipal court, and then a customer service suite, which is a 311 project that I'll talk about with you guys, and we'll get input from you guys as we go along and as we build it. But it's basically it's a 911 is for emergencies, and if you need any other thing through the city, rather than having to figure out which department does that and call that department, we are going to institute a 311. So 911, if you have emergency, everyone knows that from the time they were a kid. And then now once we build it, we haven't built it yet, you would dial 311 and it would answer any question that's a non-emergency for the city. So if you have a pothole in front of your house, or if you have a sign down, or literally anything, a dog that's being mistreated, or grass that's growing too long, like you would dial 311. We're also going to do performance metrics across the entire city to try and increase transparency and increase accountability across the different departments. A continuous process improvement that will help the city staff show all of the improvements they're making and how much money they're saving across the city, and a host of different other things. But one thing that I want to tell you guys is that I've worked with many different mayors, youth councils, KAYACs, the same type of board. And there's usually 1 or 2 ways that they're utilized. And I was really happy to see that you guys are utilizing it in what is my opinion, the best way. So sometimes it's utilized as just kind of a learn about government, play like you're the city council. So someone's the mayor, someone's the council members, someone's the police chief, someone's the fire chief, and they don't really do any substantive work. There's nothing wrong with it. I know you guys are looking at going to the KAYAC Summit, and you'll probably meet many other, boards that maybe operate that way. But what I've seen most recently is what you guys do, which is you're a board that represents the voice of the youth in the community, because as you all know, you can't run for council unless you're 18 or older. And yet, I don't know what the percentage is here, but the last city I worked for, it was like 30-something% of the citizens, residents there were under 18. So you have a huge portion of the city that's not, whose voice isn't being heard. And so I think the way that you guys are utilizing this board is very cool. That's it, I'm done. So I'm really excited to be working with you guys and to come in and look at how y'all are doing your meetings. And I know you guys have one, just, who's your presiding officer? Who's your presiding officer? Right here, can I have just a few more seconds, please? I would just say I'm getting together with Bear Heiser, who's y'all's council member liaison, and to talk about just kind of the history of what you guys have done and where y'all are going, the projects y'all are doing, so that we'll be on the same page. And then I'm really looking forward to working with all you guys, monthly, September through May, because I read y'all's bylaw.
Yep.
And I think it's really cool. And then what I really like to do, just one more second, is have council utilize you guys in what's going through council. So there's certain things that will come through council that really should have the youth opinion on it, a recommendation. We looked at this, the youth of the city think this. And so eventually what I'd like to get, and if it hasn't already happened, is the council have in their mind, hey, we'd love the youth to look at this. Let's send it to the KAYAC board, have them discuss it, and then send a representative back to talk about what they may have already done this before. But I think that building that communication with council is great. So anyway, thank y'all for having me. I'm sorry I went over, but I am your only speaker. So thank y'all. And if you need anything, I'm at the Public Safety Center all day long, every day. It's been a really long couple weeks, but also I'm looking forward to working with you guys. So thanks.
So if we don't have any more public comments, which I don't see any, so do I have to make a motion? I would like to make a motion to close public comment. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Motion carries 12-0. Next, we'll be moving on to presentation and discussion and possible recommendation regarding the 2024 Texas Youth Advisory Council Commission, February 2nd to 4th, with our treasurer, Joshua Tyler.
So the KAYAC Summit is coming up. It's February 2nd through the 4th in Louisville, Texas, which is just north of Dallas. It's also in about 2.5 weeks, so it's very short notice. That's the Hilton Garden Inn in Louisville. So like the whole point of it is just it has like skill building workshops, inspirational speakers, and like multiple networking events and opportunities to just get to know like all that there are like YAC groups across the state. So yeah, the point is to just share and learn with other groups. So we missed like the early registration deadline. So now to pay if we were to go, it would be $75 per person with for whether it's a youth or an adult. Meals are included. Plus it would be for the hotel, $104 per king room and $119 per queen room per night plus tax, which we would spend 2 nights there because we'd get there on Friday and then Saturday and Sunday morning late. So yeah, that is the KAYAC Summit. We have to make decisions pretty short because I believe there's like it's coming really fast. There's for this. So I'd like to open up to discussion.
Personally, it's very, very short notice, and like I know that a lot of us probably wouldn't be able to make it work. Not to mention freaking out transportation, staying. It's just very late notice for something this big, especially since I know most of us can't drive ourselves there. There are some, but most of us can't. So, just in my opinion, I feel like it's a bit too late to make a trip like this. Especially because I know personally my mom would be too thrilled with finding out 2.5 weeks before. So if there's anybody else who has an opinion on this Sunday, please share.
Yeah, I'm almost of the exact same opinion as you. It's a fairly big thing to organize, and given that we're 2.5 weeks out, and that I'm assuming registration is probably closing within the next few days, because they have to have a tab on who's going. I mean, I know personally, I already have a conflict, so I couldn't go even if we decided to do this. But the way I see it, it just seems like too short notice to be realistic.
I agree.
Is there any other opinions that we want to discuss before?
Have you all ever been to a KAYAC summit?
No.
I think, how new?
This is our first year coming back from COVID.
By the way, I'm assuming that liaison roles, so I'm gonna participate in the conversation.
That's all you know.
First year coming back from COVID?
Yes.
Okay. I think,
Yeah.
I think it is pretty late notice for you guys, but I would just say for the future, it's probably something I would want to look at. They do have a lot of workshops and it's geared heavily on, team building and, government, learning about government and how it works and all that kind of stuff. It's very cool and it's very focused on youth boards. So, what I've seen in the past is that a liaison will help registration and get a bus for everyone to be on and drive up there and have lodging somewhere nearby so that you can walk back and forth and stuff like that. It's not a huge lift. I think y'all are right. I think it's a lot for 2 weeks, mainly because of your parents, most likely hearing about it for the first time. But it's definitely something I think we all should look into in the future. My opinion.
So would like transportation and hotel be like on us, or would we get covered by?
All of it would be covered through your budget.
So kind of bouncing off what you were saying, I think it is a really good idea to, like a lot of team building and stuff like that, because yeah, we are bringing council, we haven't worked together before. However, I just think it's a bit too late notice, and I know that a lot of us probably already have conflicts with that date. So personally, I don't see it to be realistic for this year. If we have other opportunities, I would love to jump on that. However, I just think for the time that we have now, it's probably not going to be something we can successfully accomplish. Is there any other opinions before we move on? No motion. Okay. So next we will be discussing possible recommendation regarding Kyle Area Youth Advisory Council shirts and sweatshirts. I know Anthony. Yeah, Anthony and Gavin were working on them, so if you would like to start.
Well, we were just gonna discuss on how the process is going. We want them to be ordered before the KAYAC meet, so if it was like, if we were to go there, we wanted the shirts to be done. And so right now, we're discussing between the logos and by next week, we should have the shirts order and the sweatshirts also. And so was just mainly to talk about the progress that's going on.
Do you want to talk about both logos and get opinions so that we can move forward with them? Or do you want to just leave it at the one you show?
Oh,
I can show my, I just have to show my screen.
okay, well. Make sure the logos.
Okay. Just email me yours, I can put it on the screen so that people, if anybody's online, it's. So the image I'm about to show you is the image that, so Gavin sent me an original. I had the company that we use, which is Vista Go Print. make some edits to it and add a few things. So the base of it though is Gavin's idea. I wanted to. Are you guys able to see that?
It's actually cute. I really like it. Me too.
So Gavin's original had the kayak on top, and then he had, I don't know what it's called, but the side, I guess, a little flower side with the Texas. All I did was ask them to add in the city logo along with the actual name, so people know what kayak stands for. And then we also have another image that we're gonna go through. But I did want to clarify before, and then I can take it, or Mr. Elizondo could take it, that it was a crew neck sweatshirt and a t-shirt, correct? Okay.
Not working, can I just show the computer?
Just recorded, so. Come through. Okay, we'll just show the camera. Whenever. If you want to flip it to everybody else.
Okay, so, yeah, want to pass it down if you want to?
Yeah, and then whenever we get here, I'm gonna fill the screen. So with that, I think there was a little bit of confusion, so. We, myself or Mr. Elizondo are here to filter out we have the connections as far as the tax exempt, and we already have connections with the companies. So we already have a company that we use. Now, if there's another company you guys want me to use or us to use, I'm totally for it. But I already have an established communication with someone that they can probably get me the shirts. If I get them ordered tomorrow by next week, at the end of the week, if not early the following week. So it's kind of up to you guys on what you guys choose to do. I know that y'all said black shirt. I know he mentioned a navy colored logo. And I can always figure out, if y'all are okay with us using our best judgment on an image as far as the color and the color of the logo. Because if you go with something darker and you have a black image, it's not gonna stand out. You're not gonna. That's all I have. Anybody? Guess you have anything?
That's gonna be, so, do we make a motion to vote on it?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'd like to call a motion to vote on which image, or the sign should be used for the shirts. Second. Okay, and so,
Favor say aye. It was more of a discussion, like you have discussion on which image, like you're in favor of the first image. And then once you get it collected, you then make a motion on, we'd like to use image 1 or image 2. Read it.
Alright, so I would like to make a motion to.
No motion, just take a vote, just take a
Okay.
vote.
Well, let's say this is image 2 and Calvin is picture 1. And so whoever agrees to use the first one, raise your hands.
Alright, so it looks like.
So that's it.
Wait, hold on. Let's hear the second.
Alright, so everybody
I'll read my.
vote on picture 2, raise your hands.
Now you choose.
Alright, so I would like to make a motion on using the first picture, which was the goblins, the sun.
All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries 12. Now we'll be moving on to discuss and consider possible recommendations regarding the application and interview process to include a recommendation on a position. I know last meeting we discussed like adding 2 things. Just go through with that.
Yeah, this is where you guys discuss, I'm sorry, I wasn't a part of it. Yeah, whatever discussion you would like.
So then, just a question, have we already gotten approval from council for this position?
So I think the way that we discussed this last time with Mr. Heiser is that if you guys approved it, it was an approved position. If I recall correctly.
I
And
do
then
believe
it
that,
will-
that it already got kicked. My memory is that council approved it, it got kicked to us then to decide whether or not we want to
Want it.
implement it.
Mhm.
And then, so I think that that decision was then tabled and then we came to this meeting to determine that.
Okay, so this is where y'all decide.
Right?
Okay.
Did we vote to establish it? Okay, if we've already voted to establish it, then I guess the next part would be to figure out when we're gonna do interviews for
Mhm.
it.
Yeah, this is a part of the application and interview, so the application is a little bit different, you know how we did it for you guys kind of put your name, hey, I would like to. Run for chair or vice chair, whatever the positions were, and then you guys would figure out how you would like to do the interview.
So I have a few ideas for this. So we do have like an established, we have like the original officers, right? And then we have the rest of the members. And so since the bylaws do say that KAYAC members vote on officer positions, we can just like have those interested in the position, give like a minute 30 spiel of why they believe they'd be the best fit for that position. Then after everybody hears everyone, you just do like a hand vote, count it up, and then do the motion.
The one thing I would say is that because of the size of the body, I believe that by law, we're required, or not by law, by Robert's Rules of Order, which is how the body is supposed to be governed, we're supposed to do a silent ballots. That way, no one knows who voted for who, and so no feelings are hurt and no feathers are ruffled over who gets the position.
I do agree. That would also make sure that no bias takes place. If you were to see your friend vote for somebody.
I think that, an interview process in front of the other members, essentially giving a pitch of, this is why I think I'm qualified for this position. And, you have that process and then it goes to a silent ballot of all the members. And then the one question that I would ask is, do we want to go with plurality or majority? Plurality is just the person with the most votes gets elected, whereas majority means that you have to get 51% of the votes in order to get elected.
Given the body of KAYAC, it would most likely be impossible to gain a majority vote, so plurality would make most sense.
Well, like if we want to go with majority, then what we would do is that we would end up having like what essentially amounts to like runoff votes. Like if there were 3 candidates that were running, right? The person with the least amount of votes would get taken off the ballot, and then we would have another vote with just those 2 people on the ballot. That way, if you voted for a less popular candidate, your voice isn't just ignored in the election process.
We're too small for all that. That's too much work for us. Like, this room.
Although I love it, I ran elections for almost 10 years. And so your knowledge of how all that works is fantastic. That's just a side note.
I think he read.
He was absolutely correct on how he walked through it.
Roberts. So, yeah, I think all of those, everything we just said, very important to the establishment of this.
So it's someone making oh, go ahead. Sir.
I just have a question. Can someone give me just a background on what the position is? Like the purpose of it?
So currently, right now, as you probably know, we're going through a bit of a fentanyl crisis, and the idea was pitched by Mr. Heiser about adding a position to, I can't remember his exact words, but he wanted to give not like an outlet, but he wanted a youth advisory council member to be able to talk to like the youth of our time, because right now, like he used the DARE program as an example of something that didn't work. He wanted to give us, as in like the youth, somebody that is our age that can speak out against it. So, yet again, same thing with like mental health and any other health related issues.
Okay.
Like that.
And the thought being that it was someone that was already on the board or bringing someone else onto the board, someone that was already on the board. Okay. Okay, great.
So you guys would make a motion on, I think you said 1.5 minutes to give a presentation, and then you guys would go.
Then
But
I'd
how
like to
would we-
make a motion to establish the interview process for the health liaison position as follows. The candidate will give a minute and a half interview speech in front of, the assembled body of KAYAC. And then all the candidates will give a minute 30 speech in front of the assembled body of KAYAC. And then afterwards, the members of KAYAC will vote, and whoever attains a majority of those votes will be elected to the position.
A motion. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Motion carries 12-0.
So then the one question I would then ask is that, how are we gonna deal with I hate bringing up the bylaws, but the problem is that we now have a position that we've now established that we now need to add to the bylaws. So that would probably be a topic of discussion for the next meeting, is getting that added to the bylaws.
Yeah, I think there's a couple things you guys need to look at in your bylaws, just from what I read, so you could address them all at once. Not in a negative way. Not in a negative way, but it says in the bylaws that, there will be a Parks and Recreation liaison to the board, and if Amy leaves, I don't work for Parks and Recreation, so if I'm the liaison, then I wouldn't fit that, category. So you could just look at all that stuff. The bylaws are, y'all wrote them very well, like, they're very easy to read, so you could just go through them and knock out a couple things, and they're your bylaws. All it takes is a vote to change them, so, we can put that on the next agenda for the position and also for the liaison and anything else you guys want to address. I should probably write that down. Do you all want to have the election next meeting? Okay.
So then, do we want to establish those who are interested in the position now? Or should we wait until that meeting?
You could just have them all give their minute and a half whenever that item comes up at the next meeting.
Yeah,
Just whoever wants to go can go, and then do the voting. We can have a sheet that we give out to everyone at the end that just has the names of everyone that was interested, and you do a private check mark and hand them over to the liaison, and that way, I agree. I think it's smart of you all to say, like, let's just vote privately and have it tallied up. And
do we need to amend that motion to include the silent ballot then?
no, I think you're okay. I think it's fine.
Are we?
No, you're fine with the motion he made, and then whenever you guys ask for the minute or the patients for next, he wrote it down too, so.
Moving on to our next topic, update, discussion, and recommendation regarding the Kyle Area Youth Advisory Council marketing. Promotion.
So. I have no. Sorry, so I have no idea on the progress on how is it working. This was put into Govin's job as like saying that he was in charge of doing this, and supposedly he did start making I think it's an Instagram for us, and so I need to speak back to him to see how is it going, and so I just need to check back on him to see how everything's going on. And so due to that, I have nothing more to talk about.
And then just to follow up from the last meeting, I let you guys know that y'all have a Facebook, and then as far as Instagram, it would just need to be linked to the Facebook that we have. So that it'll, and I've already been in contact with Rachel about this, and she just says it needs to link to whoever the city liaison, their Facebook. I'll get a bit more information.
Okay.
They're just on Twitter, or not Twitter, what was it on? TikTok, that's a good one. You wanted to just add.
For the kayak
Mhm.
promotional marketing.
Mhm.
I know a lot of things, social media is not one of them. But we have a communication team at the city that's wonderful at it, so I'll get with them.
So no motions, we have, just giving an update.
So next item on our agenda is updates, discussion, and possible recommendation regarding fundraising with Mayor Bell and social chair and
Okay, I came up with some volunteer and fundraising materials. Different fundraiser ideas that we could do are like car washes, talent show / bingo night, bake sales, a chain restaurant fundraiser, when you go to a restaurant, you're like, oh, I'm supporting this group, and then like some of the money goes to our group, and a canned food drive. And other volunteering community service ideas are like cleaning and picking up trash at parks in the Kyle area, like Greg Clark Park, La Verde Park, Lake Kyle Park, 5 Mile Dam, and other areas because we are parks and recreation. Or Adopt a Highway, which is a program where you like adopt a segment of the highway and you have to commit to picking up litter along the sides of the road, like at least 4 times a year. I thought that'd be a good thing for us to do as a group. And it's you have to adopt it for a minimum of 2 years, so it could continue on with the next.
I really, I also thought the cleaning the parks, like, thinking have trash and such from, it also helps our awareness, we can talk to people and get everything out there. I really like the idea of I guess both. No, I mean, it's not really fundraising. It's more community service. But it also like it helps the community and it helps get our. What do y'all think about these?
Good ideas. I have 2 ideas that I would actually like to add. The first one being location wise, if we were to do a bake sale, the flea market would be an exceptional place to do that. A lot of people going in and out. You're in that environment, you're thinking, I'm a little hungry, I'd like to buy a cookie. And then the other idea is that I happen to be very, I know the people at the Hayes County Food Bank very well after volunteering with them. And if we were to do some sort of collaboration with like the city of Kyle and the food bank where people would bring us food, like a large amount of food, and we donate to them. That would allow not only the families signed up to have more food, but just overall bring awareness to the Hayes County Food Bank as an organization. Those who may not have, like, those in need of like more food resources would not only be more aware of the food bank, but those who aren't can provide in their own like food donations. So I think those both would be great ideas, spreading awareness and selling baked goods.
I did want to mention, you were mentioning, picking up the trash at the park. We have an adopt a park program within the Parks and Rec department. And I think it's a minimum of 3 months that you have to like consistently go out and pick up trash. And then you get your plaque at the park that you are named to, so it could go under kayak, class of 2024, I guess. But just an idea, so if y'all did that, yeah, so if you guys did want to go that route, and Lake Kyle is finally reopening since we're back to having water. And so we're getting more people out there and we're gonna restock. We're in January, we're supposed to restock sometime this month.
How big's the plaque? Can they put their names on? Like real tiny font though?
Maybe, yes. But yeah, that'd be another opportunity for you guys.
Anything that you guys do for fundraising, but specifically for promotion, or if you're backing a cause, we could definitely utilize the city's communication department to put it out that the kayak is, like you were saying, for the food bank or something like that, is gonna be there, and then of course a liaison could and probably should go to council and announce it during the public section, where you could just say that the kayak wanted everyone to know that they're doing this or adopting a park or whatever, just for awareness and stuff. Plus, the city council would, that anything y'all do, the city council will support you 100%. They're gonna be some of your biggest fans, so you definitely want to, let them know when you guys are doing anything like that. It's a good way to get the word out.
Personally, I think the highway and the park adoption process, that looks like something that would be very beneficial to us, just again to do some community service and also to say, oh, yeah, we adopted a park. Think about it now. Is there any other discussion you would like to make about fundraising and community service?
There is an application for you. They want to go that route.
So are we okay with like doing the adopt a park? Is there any objections to that? Any concerns with that?
The only thing I would say is that we should probably establish a consistent schedule for, and be able to, assign people, okay, you're doing it this time, this person's doing it that time, like, make sure we actually have an organized schedule for when we're gonna come out and do that.
Do you guys want to put an item on the next agenda to have options put up? And so you guys can look at all the different options, maybe fundraisers on one side and causes, support causes on the other. Because really the two are, fundraising and supporting a cause are really two completely separate things. But, then you could at least see them, have some discussion, and then maybe vote on whether you want to do them, because we could do that.
Yeah, probably do like a nomination process where like all four of them are discussed, and then we nominate one of them to be like the park that we choose to look after and such.
Yeah, you all seem to have a pretty good consensus based on your logo voting, so. So y'all will probably all decide on a similar park. Yeah, we could have all the different parks from the adopted park program as an option. The highway, I think, is a great idea, although maybe a little more dangerous, and God forbid anything would happen to any of you while you're picking up a highway. So the parks are probably a little bit more safe, it is the highway.
There's like a whole application process, but there's also training that you have to go through before you even pick up any of the trash,
Sure.
like vests and stuff.
Yeah. Park might be the better option, just a thought. But we could get other options too, other than adopt a park. We'll put a presentation together and throw it up here, and you guys can discuss it and then vote on it.
Just carry.
Yeah, he'll just.
That's fine, yeah.
So, do you have any reports?
That's all right now.
Okay, so we don't have any reports at this time. Next meeting will be held on February 21st. At 6:30 as well. So. Since there's no further discussion, I would like to make a motion to adjourn today's meeting at 7:11.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries 12-0.